Embarking from Port Canaveral cruise port, not the easiest port to leave from, we found. But we learned some valuable stuff during our 2 cruises here. So here are 10 things we learned from sailing Port Canaveral. Number 1. Port Canaveral is not Orlando. It's a common mistake to think they're neighbors. In reality, Orlando International Airport is 45 miles west, and if you're coming from the theme parks, it's over an hour and 60 miles of unpredictable highway. Unless you fly into the smaller Melbourne Airport, which is actually closer, you're looking at a major transit leg before you even see the ocean. And speaking of the airport, number 2, you need extra time at Orlando Airport, MCO. You need a 3-hour cushion at MCO, minimum. It's not just sprawling. As of 2026, the airport is replacing its entire tram system to gauge 70 to 129. This affects terminals A and B, which are connected by a central building. The tram typically takes you to the central terminal A and B and baggage claim. But you may find yourself on a slow tarmac shuttle bus and a long transfer instead. If you land at the new Terminal C, be prepared for the garage hike, a 1,200-foot trek through a parking structure just to reach the train that connects you to the rest of the airport. The building is also home to its own car rental services and Brightline station to South Florida. You just walk and stand in line. A lot. Make extra time for it. Now that said, number 3, the airport has lots of supportive infrastructure. The airport is designed to hustle vacationers to the theme parks, and yes, the cruise ports. And while you could pony up for the cruise line shuttle, there is an alternative. GoPort is the third-party powerhouse. So this GoPort is a transportation service. They'll take you to the port as well. They have their own pricing. It's online, goport.com. And it's all the way at the end of this one. I swear to God, this is the longest section of terminal I've ever walked down. I swear to God, I feel like I'm doing a 5-mile hike or something like that. Just note though that this service does not have the power to delay the ship if there's a traffic jam. If you're cutting it close, like landing and boarding the ship on the same day, pay the premium for the official cruise line transfer. Why? Well, because it's an insurance policy. If your bus is late, the ship waits. If your Uber is late, well, too bad. For the ultimate low-stress start, if you can afford it, book the Hyatt Regency right inside the terminal the day before. Located in the center atrium of terminals A and B, you can come in from a late flight, sleep, then grab an Uber or a taxi the next day with plenty of time to get on board. Taxis, ride shares, and of course, car rentals are at both A, B, and C terminals. But ignore the LYNX bus. That's the local public transit, and it's a multi-hour ride with transfers and 0 luggage space. Ubers are on level 2, A and B, or level 6, terminal C, and if your rideshare app is giving you high surge numbers, try the taxis. Taxis are on ground level 1 for A and B and level 6 for terminal C. Note there are no flat rates for the cruise port and is, as of recording, about $125 to $140. Now, we were staying in Orlando for a few days, so we opted to rent a car, returning it to Port Canaveral. But this presented a few choices to be made. Number 4. The drive between the cities is the most important factor. It's not just that it's long and potentially crowded. There are 2 choices en route to consider if driving yourself with a rental. The fast way, SR 528, known as the Beachline Expressway. It's a straight shot. It'll cost you roughly $8 to $10 in tolls as of recording. Most rental companies charge a convenience fee of $5 to $15 a day just to use their transponder. Now here's the sucky part, pardon my French. They don't accept cash or credit cards at the stations. All electronic. Here are a few alternatives. One option is to buy your own Sun Pass from a local CVS or Walgreens, but you keep the card forever, which is perfect if you go to Florida a lot. Or the Visitor Toll Pass, available at Orlando Airport exclusively. It's designed to pick up and return at the airport. Check out the details at visitortollpass.com. Now, if you choose to pay your own tolls, you must refuse the rental company's toll program. Don't get double charged. And if all that's a big hassle, and yeah, it's a hassle, you can avoid the toll issue with this, the local way. SR 50, the Colonial Drive. No tolls, but lots of stoplights, strip malls, and local surface street traffic, and an extra 30 to 40 minutes. Take this if you don't mind a leisurely drive. And if you're coming in from South Florida, say Miami or Fort Lauderdale from a previous cruise, for example. Number 5, trains aren't necessarily faster between South and Central Florida. For example, we took the Brightline train from Miami to Orlando Airport as an illustration. Very nice facilities. And the ride was clean and modern. The whole experience from getting there to arrival at the airport was about 3 hours. By comparison, renting a car at Miami Airport and driving to Port Canaveral directly would have taken roughly the same amount of time, maybe a little more. Plus, the train stops at Orlando Airport, which means getting out at Terminal C, getting the rental car, and driving another hour, or taking the Uber or taxi. Now, if you're not just going point to point, say from the airport to the hotel, and plan to spend a few days here, definitely do number 6. Car rental is king, but only if you're doing more than just a hotel transfer. There are no trains or convenient public transportation between Orlando and Port Canaveral to get you there. If you want to see the Kennedy Space Center or the world-famous Ron Jon Surf Shop in Cocoa Beach, you need your own wheels. Rideshares out here can be sparse and pricey once you leave the main terminal areas. Now personally, we found car rental offered the best time savings overall, since we had the freedom to move as we pleased and change plans when needed. We pre-ordered our Uber to Orlando Airport after the cruise. Fine. But the gallivant around Cape Canaveral and the rocket sites? Drive. This, however, leads to number 7.
As you can see, there's a lot of people do one-way here.
Yeah. Don't assume car rental return at Cape Canaveral to be an easy drop-and-go thing. Between 9 to 11 a.m. on port days, it's more like a competitive sport. Agencies like Hertz, Dollar, and Thrifty share the same crowded shuttle, and you'll be competing with dozens of families and mountains of luggage at the same drop-off point. Their fleets are limited. Plus, shuttles will stop in as many terminals as necessary, of course. If you check out our Port Canaveral port of call video, here's a link, we give a basic port overview, and you'll see that the port perimeter requires a fair amount of driving. But not all agencies are like this. Consider these options before booking that car online. Budget and Avis have a larger fleet of shuttles, but they're further south on A1A. Enterprise, National, and Alamo offices are located on Mullet Road, which is technically inside the port perimeter. The shuttle ride is 2 minutes, and the facility is much higher infrastructure. Now, the pro move is to drop off your family and all the luggage at the port terminal first, then have only the driver to return the car. If you see a crowd at the shuttle stop, don't wait. Spend the $15 on an Uber to the terminal. But it was necessary because, number 8, you can't walk to the port, even if your hotel is right next door. Port Canaveral is a Maritime Transportation Security Act regulated facility. Once you move past the public Cove restaurant area, if you can even get there from your hotel on foot, you are entering a secure perimeter. Port security and the sheriff's office patrol these roads constantly. A person walking with luggage is suspicious activity, so give yourself extra time to get to your terminal on port day, since everyone needs to drive there. You'll still encounter long lines, but in our case, crowds were handled fairly smoothly. Inside the terminals isn't much of an issue. Getting there is. To make this transition from hotel to port easier, we could have stayed in town, which brings up point 9. No free lunch for hotel shuttles. As of 2026, virtually every hotel along the corridor charges a per-person fee, usually $12 to $15, to get you to the pier. Unless you're a solo traveler, it's a bad deal. For a family of 4, you're paying $48 to $60 for a ride you could get for $18 total on Uber. There might be high demand price surging on busy port days. Now, one workaround is to book your rideshare in advance if you know a surge is coming. And it's coming with lots of ships at port, or really huge ships at port. So to check, we recommend looking at the official Port Canaveral website, which will show you exactly what you need. More than 2 ships at port on the day? Consider a pre-book. See our link in the description for the site. An alternative is to ask the front desk to call you a taxi, which run on meters and don't do surge pricing. And finally, number 10, be very conservative about your flight times out. With MCO hitting record passenger volumes, it pays to be slightly ahead of the recommended 3-hour window. And when you count getting off the ship, getting your bags, finding your ride, traffic getting out of the port, which is often overlooked, and the highway commute, I'd add a minimum of 2 to 2.5 hours, for a grand total of 5.5 hours. So if you have an 11:30 a.m. flight and you disembark at 8 a.m., that's way too tight for our blood. We usually try to book mid-afternoon or early evening even. Pad your time, save your sanity. Of course, you could always just do the mouse on an extended trip after your cruise. Just saying. If you got good value from this video, and you made it this far, hit us up with a like and share with your shipmates. And don't forget to check out our port of call video from Port Canaveral, where we outline the port, Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, and some really cool surprises. You can check it out on the link here. And keep those comments and questions coming. We aim to answer as many as we can. Happy travels, and see you on the next cruise.